Thanks for downloading a 3CR podcast. 3CR is an independent community radio station based in Melbourne, Australia. We need your financial support to keep going. Go to www.3cr.org.au for more information and to donate online. Now stay tuned for your 3CR podcast.
We're putting up new buildings, we're knocking down the old. We're working in the summer heat and in the winter cold. And the labour power we sell, me boys, for a hard and weekly pay produces mighty profits for the greedy MBA. And whether we were born here or born in Italy, in Greece, in Spain or Ireland, in England or Fiji, we all of us are workers, united we must stand, until the wealthy bludgers have been driven from our land. We faced deregistration, it backfired in the face. We're not fooled by arbitration, we won't stay in our place. We hit the bosses hard and fast to win and keep our gains, and break a couple of concrete pours to back our log of claims. So keep your powder dry and hold your head up high. It's class to class and face to face, our limit is the sky. We've got a fighting history and we never will be cowed. Our builders' labour is a name to make a man feel proud.
And it is a good morning from the Concrete Gang, brought to you every Sunday morning on Community Radio 3CR. And I've just got to say that we're looking forward to a big week this week. The Federal Parliament resumes. And so this week, the show will have a parliamentary orientation. Good morning, Buzzer.
Good morning. What a week it's going to be. Yes, back to the old Parliament House, eh? What do you reckon's going to happen there? Do you reckon there's going to bit of action's going to happen there? What with Pauline and Derek and all Darren and all them sort of people?
Yeah, they might have a raid. They might have a federal police raid on Parliament House.
What happened to the parliamentary privilege?
Good morning, Colin.
Good morning.
Have you got an explanation as to why they may have raided Parliament House?
I think they got part of the address at Parliament House and the address of the CFMEU office in Canberra mixed up. I think they went to the wrong place. Because our flag does fly high over Parliament House. I've seen it. I've seen it.
Well, whatever the reason, it's been another big week in Canberra. The pollies are gathering to the fray. And we are going to enjoy many, many news stories while our good friend Malcolm Turnbull tries to prove that he is in fact the Prime Minister of Australia and leader of the Liberal Party. And he will be surrounded and supported by the greatest ratbag crew you have ever seen in your life.
Did you see him welcome back all those Olympics and the way he carried on about it? Oh, please. It was an overkill. Made out like was the greatest thing of all time. They spent $400 million on the swimmers. That money could go to a lot of social network places and homeless people. And what did we get out of it? Putting 2 gold medals for the swimmers, and he's carrying on like they're the greatest athletes the world's ever seen, and we're proud of everyone. We're not proud, but do we have to go on about it?
But you know who sponsored the swim team, don't you?
Who?
Gina Hancock Resources sponsored the swimming team.
She would use money she rips off.
And she turned up at the Olympic Village and took them all out for a bit of din-dins and all that. She personally sponsored a number of sports. So that's got to be wrong.
And just while we're talking federal politics, it was great to see David Spears tear the absolute crap out of old Michaelia Cash during the week. She was stumbling her way through that EBA. She did not have a clue.
Not one.
It was embarrassing to watch, wasn't it?
Well, before we get to the minor players, why don't we start off with the Julie Bishop Chinese Communist Party Award for this week?
Oh, yeah.
young Jules, there she is getting selfies with all these Chinese people. And I can understand she thought the bloke was patting her on the arse, but in fact what he was doing is he was trying to slip money up the back of her dress just to get a bit of influence with the Turnbull government. But listen, who do the Chinese Communist Party own other than the Turnbull government?
You tell us.
John Holland.
Oh, the most
John Holland, the wholly owned subsidiary of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yes,
there you go.
You know what the red in John Holland means.
Where do they get the people working for them? They've got the worst... No, I'm not having a go, but these people that work for them...
Yeah, having a go.
I tell you what a joke. What an absolute joke.
And a cheerio to Comrade Robert Joyce,
And-
leading commissaire of the John Holland Communist Party cell.
And his mate Rob, what's his second name? The other bloke, the big bloke, come from Western Australia.
You've got me.
The big project manager. Can someone remind me?
Don't know. Not onto it. But I saw I have heard that the new John Holland clothing issue will be grey this year.
With a red star.
Yes. With just, that little collar. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, the great chairman has passed away, but the miserable story goes on. And the miserable story continued out at Ravenhall this week because, guess what? There was a visit, and I ain't the greatest fan of Comcare, but John Holland's got themselves out of the state work cover and health and safety system and got themselves under the so-called Comcare system, which was in fact supposed to be, and had always only been, for public servants and office-based type work. Now,
is that their get-out card?
That was their get-out card. Of course, it doesn't mean too much because most of the people on the site, out of the 800 people that are on the site, 890 of them are actually employees of companies who work under the state legislation. So last week we had Comcare and WorkSafe turn up together and have a look at the site. And even Comcare were not very impressed. Oh dear, the investment is not paying off. There will be more people going to Beijing to explain. But they'll have to explain two other things. Two elevated work platforms that went over on the job due to unstable land. And they were moving them around the site. They went over because, contrary to what's supposed to happen, you're supposed to know where all the excavations have taken place. You're supposed to know where the earth may not have been compacted fully, and they sent them across areas which were not properly compacted. They were unstable, and as a consequence, but without injury thankfully, two large elevated work platforms mobiling across the site both went over.
Rob Marchant, that was his name I was thinking of. Rob Marchant.
Comrade Rob Marchant.
Rob Marshman has a bit of trouble doing his shoelaces up, but anyway, that's Rob. Rob.
That's why he wears slip-ons, doesn't he?
Anyway, so it was
what
a big,
incompetent people
it was
they
a
are.
big week. It was a big week for John Hollands. Yet again, this is week number 4. They just can't get it right. They were going to do all sorts of things about taking the various unions to Fair Work for unlawful industrial action and all the rest of it. They demanded a 418 order and all the rest of the bullshit. At the end of it, they didn't go on with it because it was all too embarrassing. So to all the comrades at John Holland's at Ravenhall, congratulations. You have done your owners an absolute treat.
Yes.
But we're not finished with the...
Well, the jail isn't finished.
The jail isn't going to take a long time
Well,
to
we're
finish.
building so many freaking jails, I've got to tell you.
Well, there might be a few Chinese political donors who will be incarcerated yet. Anyway, let's talk about something else that is Chinese, but this time it's all with fibre.
Can I just quickly say about jail? I might get off the subject here, but we know Manus Island's going to get shut down, right? And there's people that have escaped into the Papua New Guinea there, and now they want to get back into the back into Manus Island Detention Centre. So that's what over there, that's what we're up against, right? Why did they open that up there in the first place? That poor country there, we're giving them all our problems. Surely there's got to be a better solution than that.
Well, you've successfully diverted attention from...
And Nauru, Pigeon Shed Island. Well, come on, please. Let's come up with a decent solution there. But anyway, I did jump all over the place. What were you going to say?
You digress, but we're going to talk
about Port Pirie.
Port Pirie asbestos over there at Port Pirie, the lead smelter over there in Port Pirie. They're doing a $500 million expansion over there, and NiStar, is it? NiStar. They've brought in all these heat exchangers from China, and guess what? Full of asbestos. Actually said in the contract, those heat exchangers must not contain asbestos. So what happened? They walk in, they go through customs, they turn up on the job, and what are they full of? Yes, they are full of asbestos again. We're importing it again. That's what's going on. We're importing asbestos again. That's what it looks like.
Under the China free trade.
Absolutely.
So
you have to question some of that stuff from
Peter
China.
Dutton Asbestos Award this week goes to... NiStar.
Thanks, Peter, for you've opened the doors again. Well done.
He's incompetent, that bloke, isn't he? He's absolutely incompetent, that bloke.
Righto. So we've started off with an exercise in shit canning some Chinese products, some Chinese-owned companies. But now let's just jump to a local.
Who?
Rokez.
Oh, yeah. What's going on there? Come on.
I'll tell you what's going on there.
I do.
He is in a situation where he's decided to build himself a new factory and somehow forgotten to pay the CBUS, the tax, the Incolink, the co-invest. It mounts up. It is a huge amount of money. And just because you're in the back blocks of Shepparton, thinking you're outside any kind of oversight or surveillance, you think you can get away with it. Well, I'm afraid you haven't. And the blokes have been visited. They have done what they have to do. And the company is now in a situation where they better be paying, because not one employee in nearly 12 months has been covered by any form of insurance, not even for broken teeth.
No.
Had been injured, couldn't get an ambulance paid under the insurance policy. Had been seriously injured, no trauma insurance.
No death
and if
insurance.
they had been killed, as has happened in Shepparton, in the Shepparton precast world, there have been many, many, many serious injuries and one death in the last, I'd say, 10, 12 years. And in that time, we have at least managed to maintain the coverage of the insurance and so on. But this bloke has gone out on the limb, and he has basically put all his employees at risk. Anyway, it's going to get fixed because it has to get fixed. But our good friends from Rokez, who ain't exactly the best precaster in the world, are going to be having to settle up. I even understand. So if all those people from FWBC listening, he's in trouble because he's even broken the law. He hasn't paid his tax. The taxation office is after him. Co-invest is after him. They are taking action in court against him. So if you want to have a go at us, go have a go at Co-invest and the tax office too, because at least they're doing the right thing.
They're doing something about it. And that big, beautiful shed there in Shepparton, we know how that was paid for, eh? On the blood, sweat and tears of your employees and the lack of payment and all the rest of it. Well, you've got that big, beautiful shed. I hope it gets taken off you.
Righto. We might cut to a track. I'd like to dedicate this to the son-in-law, young Pete, who got this track for me, a band, the Alvin Brothers, and not the Chipmunks. They've got a song from their album, 1111, and it's Gary, Indiana.
I'm old, weak and gray, and I'm running out of time. Yeah, but you should have seen me, brother, when I was young and in my prime. Back in Gary, Indiana, in 1959. I was a steel working man with 2 kids and a loving wife.
Don't fight to lose. Concrete gangs here to stay. You don't fight to lose. Stand to struggle. Stand to win.
Whatever it takes, whatever the stakes.
Back to Gary, Indiana, in 1959.
There you go, Dave Alvin, and played out at the Northcote Social Club. Used to be with a band called the Blasters, and he and his brother got together and doing a little tour of Australia and put out some nice CDs. So I hope everyone enjoyed that, and it's just a reminder that let's just say in the non-construction area, in the off-site area, in manufacturing, people used to have a go. End of sermon. Righto, moving along.
Point taken.
What are we moving along to?
We're moving back to Michaela Cash.
Michaela Cash, is that a real name, or is it Michaela Thatcher?
Michaela Shalshik.
Is it Michaela Thatcher?
Well, she's made it quite clear. Maggie was one of her heroes.
No, I don't want to pick on people's hairstyles, but that hairstyle looks very familiar, doesn't it?
It's a wig, isn't it?
Please.
It looks like a flying
And can I
saucer
say
which
the
moves
voice,
up.
the voice she's got, it's got one of those, the worst voice, right? Anyway, I don't want to pick on that.
Let's not talk about person
Yeah, I can't help it.
traits. Let's talk about what she was on about.
Her rubbish politics, her handling of the CFA dispute. She had absolutely no idea what she was talking about. And lo and behold, a particular union has actually taken her to Fair Work and using the Fair Work Act against Michaela for not bargaining in good faith. So that'll be interesting.
The CPSU
That's correct.
Done themselves a treat.
Yep.
And Michaela always fancies herself as the boss, and there's a bit of responsibility goes with the boss. Little wonder they want to get rid of the Fair Work Act.
Yeah, exactly.
So Michaela got on Sky News with David Spear.
Correct.
Oh, he tore strips out of it. It was magnificent.
He didn't have to. She just didn't know what she was talking
And she
about.
started making up a story about a car on fire and 7 CFA people who would go to the fire and all this, and it's written in the agreement. He said, "Where's it written? It's not written there at all." She had no idea.
She hadn't seen the agreement.
And he's on to her about reading it. Oh, I've been briefed. Well, being briefed and reading it might be two different things.
No, she started off by saying she'd been briefed on it. Then she started talking details, so we asked her if she'd actually read it. If she had read it, then she had to be able to answer the rest of the questions. If she was simply briefed, then maybe she didn't have full knowledge. Oh, no, she insisted, I have read it. 500-page EBA. It's a bit over the top, but she said she'd read it. And he took her at her word, and she stuffed it up big time.
Exactly. Wearing briefs and being briefed are two different things. Anyway.
That's right. Anyway, just need to mention an ongoing dispute down at CUB. There was a rally during the week. There's a rally every Thursday, in fact. And the Tower of Power, the big scaffold they have there at the entrance to the complex. Got to say, I'm nominating Raven Scaffolds for a very less than satisfactory job, but that will get fixed if it hasn't already been fixed with a bit of diagonal bracing. Anyway, moving along, the Scabby the Rat was in all his glory.
Yeah, in attendance.
I reckon it looks remarkably like a previous rat that used to wander around following the Coal Royal Commission all those years ago. And it's grey. I guess it's just the passage of time. Just got a bit old and a bit grey, but it's still a rat.
Oh, could be son of the rat.
Well, once a rat, always
a rat.
So never mind. So the boys down at CUB, the ETU and AMWU members who have been unceremoniously excluded from their work and have been offered basically a shit job at shit rates if they want to come back with a subby. Absolute disgrace. It's our good mate, Gary Woodburn, deciding on a new direction for CUB, and obviously that don't include decent wages and conditions nor union membership. Righto, so cheerio to all those boys.
Yep.
Stevie, the main spokesman down there, top job. And I've got to say, on Thursday afternoon, took a while to get them out there, but the production people walked off, and the CFMEU members in there who work in the logistics part of the complex, as always, did themselves an absolute treat. So cheerio to all them, and we'll go to Scallywags.
Just quickly, before we go, Scallywags, just the Cummings function.
Yes.
Right? Just should be 10th and last year, Flemington Racecourse, all booked out. Should be a great night.
You mean last night?
Last night was a great night.
Oh, sorry.
And you'll give a report on it next week.
Yeah, I'll give a report on it next week.
We're still counting, the money.
Just remember, special thanks to the West Australian branch in the sponsorship that they've done, and the extra sponsorship, and the opening of the office and all that out there too. Fantastic. Mick and all the boys over there. Now,
righto, Scallywags, ADCO. That's my first name down here.
Absolutely. ADCO Greensboro Aquatic Centre. No emergency evacuation drill. No rescue plan for the towel crane operator. No lighting in the stairwells. No emergency exit lights. Fraudulent paperwork ticked off on drills that never happened. It took 3 days to find a stretcher. Dodgy handrails. And the list goes on. So our friends down there at ADCO, don't jump in the water because you might just drown.
Well, Andrew Crellin, please come back.
Well, he bailed out, didn't he? He bailed out. You've seen the writing on the wall?
He put the floaties on.
That's Class 1 builder, Keynes, Rodney.
Andrew put the floaties on and off he went.
He was giving them a bit of industrial advice over at Keynes now. How to take
keep moving, keep moving.
Who we got?
Voss.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Tassie.
Yeah, Hobart down to Parliament House there. We went down there and the boys went down there, a few safety issues, gave them a hand, gave them a bit of advice, and lo and behold, they went back the following day to check that the safety issues had been rectified, and who's there? The Tasmanian Police. Why would you do that? That's just put your hand up. Anyway.
Righto. Our good friends, Downer, and their favourite subby, Mammoet.
My good friends from Rotterdam. Yes, Mammoet. At the Ararat Wind Farm during the week, a material handler went over and crushed, and I mean crushed, 2 utes. And no jokes aside, if there would have been anybody in any one of those utes, they would not be with us today. Those utes were flattened like a pancake when it went over. Still a little bit unsure of the details. Very, very ordinary. Very ordinary.
At the risk of having a 5-minute lecture on the dubious history, airport doors buzzer.
Oh, God, I've been dealing with this for 10 years, and it's finally... Old Frank, unfortunately, his 10 companies, they're all gone, right? Airport doors, 73rd Jetson, all these other companies he's got, they've all fallen over, and you can see the writing on the wall there, Frank. Luckily, we've got a few of the compliances paid and all the rest of them. We're only chasing some annual leave and that, and we'll see how we go. Stay tuned for that. But nomination of Frank out there.
Cheerio, Frank.
The doors are finally closed on airport doors.
He's a previous guilty one of calling the police on us out at that factory and all the rest of it. But anyway.
Cheerio, Frank.
Ta-da for now.
Time to retire. Major scaffolding. Mentioned them last week, mentioned them again this week. I tell you what, the history goes back. I was talking to a couple of scaffs who used to work for Major probably nearly 30 years ago, and guess what? Nothing's much has changed. So, Major scaffolding, in breach of so many things, it's not funny. And I guess the time has come for Ian to retire too. Righto, we got any more, boys?
Yeah, I've just got an announcement, if I can make an announcement about the branch meeting.
Oh, we'll get to that. But
Okay.
any more scallywags? Right. We're going to go with who for scallywag?
Oh, I'll tell you what, it's going to be hard to go past Michaela. Or should we go local? Should we go with Julie Bishop? That's another one. I actually like Mamoot, though, Downer. That was terrible what happened there.
Well, I think Franken Airport Doors for a sustained virtuoso performance over a decade.
Oh,
I
tell
think
you what.
Michaela hasn't been around that long. But
No, Frank's been trying to rip the boys off for a long, long time, right? 10 years I've had it in court, in Fair Work, in the whole lot. Not paying this, not paying that. Didn't do him any good at the end of the day, did it?
No. Who are we going to go for?
All right, we'll give it to Frank.
Give it to
Frank. Parting shot. The doors are closed on airport doors. There you go.
And I want to give our mates Adco, the Suki Lala.
Suki Lala. Yep.
The Suki Lala, because you would think that they were one of the best companies in Australia, the safest, the best organised, and every job is a shambles.
Yep.
And they keep sooking up that people aren't fair to them. Righto, the branch meeting is on Wednesday night, 5 o'clock Trades Hall. Make sure you're there. And we'll go out the same old way. Dare to struggle, dare to win. If you don't fight,
you lose.
You've been listening to a 3CR podcast produced in the studios of independent community radio station 3CR in Melbourne, Australia. For more information, go to allthews.3cr.org.au.